function of breathing. They've done studies, I think it was 2015, where they looked at what actually happens with breathing. And in 10 seconds of conscious intentional breathing, the autonomic nervous system will flip from fight or flight into a state of calm. 10 seconds.
Wow. I love that. In 10 seconds,
10 seconds.
To more of a calm.
That's right.
What it does for me, and I love the breathing because I can be a rushed type A person going da 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 like that. Mm-hmm. It helps center me, and I just calm. You know, even talking about breathing starts me to calm down.
Yeah.
And I start breathing. But I love this, even 10 seconds. So remember that out there. 10 seconds of deep breathing can make such a difference. And sometimes it makes a difference in our response to someone too.
Oh, absolutely. Because as soon as you get back into the calm place, now what you've done is you've calmed your whole system. If the autonomic nervous system, that's our fight or flight center that goes either, it's either fight or flight or calm. Once you can calm that down, it sends the messages then to your heart rate, to your lungs for the breathing, to the, sweat on your skin. Your whole system then goes into a state of calm, and a different part of your brain then can begin to operate. When you've got the stress hormones flooding your system, you are in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you're not really thinking. You're kind of an automatic reflex at that point.
Right.
And we can get into fight or flight pretty easily depending on our history.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that. I love how you explained that. I loved how you explained the stress hormones. So what else can we do, to begin to change some of the habits that we've had as a child because we felt unsafe? So breathing is one.
Mm-hmm. For folks that are not going to be working with a coach and they want some things that they can just do on their own, I just can't say enough good stuff about meditation. And it doesn't have to be, an hour on a mountaintop. I mean, if you can carve out 5 minutes as you start your day or you end your day, or preferably both, where you sit quietly and start with the conscious breathing, and then just allow yourself to empty your mind. And that's the goal, but it's never really completely accomplished. What you get to notice is how busy your mind is. And so you just don't let yourself get attached to any single thought. Go, oh, look at that, I'm attaching to that. Let that go. And then maybe there's a few seconds or more where it's just quiet. And then here comes another little thought, grabs your attention. But every opportunity that we can get to just sort of disconnect from this constant running mind, some call it the monkey mind, and all of that chatter makes us realize that actually what meditation does, I say, is it makes us realize that we are not those thoughts, that those thoughts are not us, that we have an observing self, that we are something more and bigger and separate from that because we can observe that. So that's not us. So then that means that when the thoughts start up really and start going crazy and start making you feel crazy, you have that awareness that that's just what's going on in my head. That's not me. So do you know what I'm saying? The difference there?
Yeah. Like if you were feeling like, would you say if you're feeling unworthy or your thoughts are going, oh, I've got, yeah.
Those are just thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just thoughts and they're separate from you. I love that. And there are wonderful, for those out there, there's wonderful like meditation apps and stuff.
Yes.
And it isn't about totally emptying your mind because I never can quite do that, but I can rein when my mind starts to wander, I can rein it in a lot quicker. And like you said, it becomes like, oh, those are just my thoughts, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And I don't need to solve that now. That's just my thought.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And I love it. It's really called the practice of meditation. So, I mean, even long-term practitioners are still just practicing. I mean, it's part of the human experience to have a busy mind. I mean, that's just who we are. That's human nature.
Right.
And so it's It's not about like,
we all have that
getting the
monkey
goal.
mind where,
Yeah,
and our monkey mind just keeps going.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So breathing, meditation, is there anything else
There's tons of things. There's tons of things. I mean, in terms of the sorts of things that you can easily do on your own is learning about something called emotional freedom techniques, or also known as tapping. I love tapping, and you can look that up online easily enough. There's points on your head and your face and your body that if you tap and you're feeling a distress, there's sort of like acupressure points that you can literally start with some kind of a stressor in your mind and identify that stressor for yourself and scale it. And you should do this, is scale it on a scale of 0 to 10. How much is it bothering you? 10 is worse than 0 is not at all. And then go through these points, tapping 7 times on each of these points, and then take a measurement, and you'll find that it's dropped. And if you go through 2, 3, 4 sets, you can take it from a 10 to a 0.
Right.
I mean, right. I've disappeared physical pains that way. It's really amazing. So it's a wonderful technique.
Right. And I love all of this that you're talking, because you're giving the audience practical ways to, it's almost like reprogramming our brain, right?
Yes. Yeah. And you'll notice that in each one of these techniques, they all involve the body, because the body begins to become like it starts running the show. It really does. We have been conditioned. The cells of our body hold memories. We tend to think of it's only in our brain, but there are neural cells in other organs in our body besides our brain. And when we have been conditioned for a number of years to feel a certain way about things, that is almost becomes like the part of us that starts running the show. It starts to tell us what to do, because we start to feel a certain way, and we either don't want to feel that way or we're going to chase that feeling, but our body is telling us what to do. And so people let their fears stop them. It isn't just this idea of I'm not good enough, but it's the feeling that goes with I'm not good enough, and that stops people, or it creates those blocks that we were talking about. Right. And so utilizing the body, bringing the body in, and creating a different experience, and then really letting yourself sit in that experience as long as possible, begins to recondition your mind, because you're reconditioning your body. And actually this goes into a whole thing around information from neurohormones, from feelings, go into the cells, and it actually enters into the genes, and it actually affects our DNA. I mean, it's amazing, the complex process that happens, but it is happening at the level of the body.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just our body is freaking amazing. Our whole being is amazing. And so what I like that you said is reconditioning. And so the points that you brought out today on the breathing, the meditation, and then the tapping, it's about being aware of our body. So often we live kind of in a brain fog. And so thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Avis, for doing that. And sure. I'd love you to share, because our time's almost up. I'd love you to share with my audience how they can get a hold of you. And you mentioned that you might have a free gift for them. So I'd love you to share that with them.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, if you want to be in contact with me, you can go to my website. That's Dr., as in DR, the abbreviated Dr. Avis Attaway, and that's spelled with 2 T's, .com. That's my website, and the chance there to get in touch. And also the free gift is this chapter from my book, from the business book called Business Boost. And it's the chapter is called What the World Thinks of You is Because of What You Think of You. And it's a relatively short chapter, but I go into the mechanics behind all of that, a little deeper dive than what we were talking about. And that can be obtained for free at DrAvis.info. DrAvis.info and get your free chapter.
Well, thank you, Avis. That's wonderful. And
Thanks,
I am
Lorraine.
so glad. Yes, I'm so glad to let you know that Avis will be here next week, and we'll be talking about breaking through to your potential. So if you have any questions, comments, or would like to know more about it, any guests on my show, please contact me by heading over to my website at lorrainehoving.com. Here you can download a free chapter that I have written also. So you get lots of reading. So I'm really excited that you're coming back to talk with us next week. You know what? I'd love to call you Dr. Avis, but I'm so used to calling you Avis. But
just call me Avis.
Yes, great. Well, you'll be back here next week. And remember, audience, it is just never too late. It's never too late to learn how to breathe. It is never too late to begin to slow down, to meditate, to take care of yourself. It's never too late to go after your dreams. Never too late to live a life of purpose. It is just never too late ever. So take those tools, use them, and we'll see you back here next week with Dr. Avis. Bye, Avis.
Bye-bye, Lorraine. Thanks so much.